Being aware of the foods that we eat is all part of health enhancement process. Not diets, because we know diets have a very, very bad name. First of all, food awareness is a completely different adventure for you than the diet adventure that you previously have explored, perhaps. The food awareness techniques are about making connections between the foods that you choose to consume each day and your overall mental, physical, emotional health and well-being. Some of the things that you might want to be aware of with regards to your food is the idea of the balance of the foods that you choose to eat. Are you aware of the balance between raw and fresh foods as well as cooked and processed foods, and what percentage of the foods that you're consuming on a daily basis are in each of those categories? If not, pay attention to that. Alter the balance, perhaps err on the side more of fresh and raw foods, and notice what effect that has on your vitality, your energy, your overall mental clarity and well-being. Or experiment on the other side. If you have primarily a raw food or fresh food diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, see what happens if you begin to incorporate a little bit more of cooked food into your diet. What impact does that have on your health and well-being? Part of the food awareness strategy is to do a little bit of a food diary, to not necessarily take what's written in books as being gospel, because in my experience, every person is unique. There is no diet for everyone. There is no one size fits all. All of our ethnic backgrounds, our geographical locations, our cultural heritages have given us predispositions, as well as our taste buds. And it's important that we enjoy our foods, but not just base our foods on what we enjoy, but also what's going to allow us to enjoy a healthy and balanced life. Another aspect of food awareness is our style of eating. Do we eat with gratitude? Every time that we have a meal, whether we prepare it ourselves or it's prepared for us, do we take a moment, even if it's just a second, to say thank you for this gift? That many people at this point in time have not been given this gift, and I have the gift of food, nutrition, vitamins, and minerals to keep my body strong, to allow me to do what I've chosen to do today, and I appreciate that. Gratefulness when we're eating can even transform foods that may not be the healthiest foods into foods that are good for us. That grace, that appreciation is like an alchemist with food. Keep it in your awareness, and even foods that might be a little bit on the indulgence side somehow turn into good foods as well. The next thing to be aware of with your food awareness is your food combining. Notice that when you have a complex meal with a lot of different foods at the same meal, perhaps it might not be the best thing for you. So as part of your food diary or food inventory, simplify your foods. Maybe even bring it down to two or three things that you have at a meal. And notice what that does for your digestive process, what it does for your mental clarity, what it does for your vitality. So food combining, fresh and cooked foods, do they mix? Does it have an indigestion effect on you? Is it difficult for you to absorb the energy quickly in terms of your work and your activity levels? Notice when you're combining foods, the food combinations that work for you and those that don't. And there are also food combining charts if you need a little bit of a guideline as to what foods traditionally combine best with other foods. And there are all sorts of stories, many of them very accurate for many people, about the dangers of drinking with meals, drinking water or drinking other beverages that dilute your gastric juices, the digestive enzymes, and how if you have digestive problems, it may not be very good to combine drinking with chewing and eating and digesting your foods, but that may or may not apply to you. So what I'm encouraging you to do with your food awareness approach is experiment, to go into these areas and notice what are the foods that enhance your health and well-being through this awareness process. Some general nutritional guidelines other than just these ideas about balancing foods, the style of eating, and of course remembering to eat slowly, to chew well, those parental comments that we often got when we were growing up. They're age-old wisdom. Every time we chew, we're adding the juices that are going to help that food be broken down and be used to assimilate the vitamins and minerals into the cells of our body. The other things to be aware of in terms of nutritional guidelines per se are Most people can err on the side of eating more fresh fruit, more fresh vegetables, more grains, nuts, and seeds in their diet, and less processed food, less saturated fat foods. So look at the nutrition, where you're getting it from, and how you're getting it, and perhaps experiment on that side. The fat content of your food. The heart associations all over the world, particularly in the Western world, have become preoccupied with fat. And the general rule is certainly to have less than 30% of your total caloric intake be coming from fatty foods. And also look at the protein needs that you have. Are you expending a lot of energy each day, doing physical labor, hard activity, mental concentration? Well, gear your caloric intake to your caloric burning. If you want to avoid the dangers of obesity, diabetes, and many of the diet-related diseases that are part of our modern day age, a lot of that can be done by gauging what you eat, not on your habits or patterns because the bell rings, it must be time for lunch, but asking yourself, am I really hungry? Have I really burned off any energy this morning? Do I really need to eat right now? Habitual eating, ritualistic eating, may not necessarily be the best way to eat on this particular day. Be aware of the food, your energy expenditure, and many benefits will flow through to you. Another point is the importance of hydration, the importance of drinking a minimum of 6 to 8 glasses of water each day, but also upping that intake if you're engaged in physical activity, sports, and you're sweating a lot. You basically need to up your fluids. Many people have disease processes, mental challenge, psychological and emotional ups and downs directly related to being dehydrated. Such a simple thing, adding more water to your daily routine and being aware of how that affects your health and well-being. Another key element in food awareness is to enjoy your food. If you're eating ice cream, chocolate, whatever it happens to be that may not be on the healthy food list that you've prepared, enjoy it. Maybe don't have it in vast quantities, but certainly don't be sitting there eating it saying, I shouldn't be eating this. This is really bad for me. Because, hey, we are all alchemists. Our minds are powerful instruments. The biology of our beliefs could be more powerful than the actual foods that we consume. So perhaps the next time you take a bit of chocolate in and you say, I deserve this. This is a great reward. I love the taste of this. I don't need to eat a lot of it, but I'm appreciating every bite of this, and I'm sure that appreciation will make it good for me. And that's a really important ingredient to make as part of your life. Enjoyment of your food. So when you think about your health and well-being, think about these different aspects of food awareness. Not only the nutritional guidelines that are printed by governments and institutions, but do those really work for you? Not the fad diet that's coming down the pipeline. When it comes to weight loss, one of the major concerns in Western developed societies, one of the major ways to lose weight is to increase your physical exercise and activity and decrease your portion size. Particularly better to graze, to have smaller meals more frequently than to have one large meal, particularly late in the day when you're not burning any calories. If you want to lose weight, increase your exercise, decrease your portion size, and be aware of the time that you're eating. Trying to eat your main meal when you still have time to burn those calories off rather than eating it late in the evening prior to going to bed. Finally, on food awareness, this notion of gratefulness and appreciation. Maybe develop a meal prayer, a sense of gratitude for the abundance in your life, that you do have food, that you do have food choices, that you can choose from organic food perhaps, biodynamic food, foods that are grown in the season that you're consuming them in, that haven't been brought in from overseas. Do some investigations if you're eating processed foods. What sort of additives have been put into those foods? Is it really better to have this food in its natural state, in its unprocessed state? How does that affect my health and well-being? Have gratitude for the food choices, the abundance in your life, and the energy, vitality, and clarity will be the gifts that food awareness give back to you.